Hello there, pre-matriculants. Welcome to Educate. In this video, we'll be continuing with our Biodiversity of Plants Educate Class Activity 2025. We have got 2.1 that says the diagram below is a cladogram of plants and their algal ancestors. A, B, C indicate key structural features in the evolution of higher plants. Study the diagram and answer the questions which follow. So basically, they say that the labels A and B and C, they are showing us the key structural features in the evolution of higher plants. So these are the changes that have happened to the plants over the time. All right, so it's kind of the evolutionary changes that have happened to the plants over time. So now let's start and define cladogram as 2.1.1. Remember, the cladogram is otherwise known as a phylogenetic tree. By definition, we say that a cladogram is a diagram. So when you define it, you say a cladogram is a diagram that shows evolutionary relationships. So it shows evolutionary relationships. It shows evolutionary relationships between animals or something like that. But basically, is that diagram? Okay, let's just say between living organisms, because this can also apply to plants. Between living organisms. So this is known as a phylogenetic tree. It just shows us the evolutionary relationships between different living organisms. Kind of shows us what has changed to this organism so that it can become something else. All right. So now they say which division of plants are referred to as the seedless vascular plants. So we need to kind of study our phylogenetic trees first. So remember, we started from bottom to top, right? We start from the bottom. So when you start from the bottom here, the phylogenetic tree leads to non-vascular plants. So the first thing that we are seeing here is what is non-vascular plants. Remember, the non-vascular plants, those are the bryophytes, right? So they are bryophytes. We say they are non-vascular because they do not have a vascular system. So these are the bryophytes. Okay. Examples of bryophytes that they usually refer to are mosses. All right. So when you hear non-vascular plants, it means that they do not have a vascular system. A vascular system, remember, is a xylem or a phloem. All right. So if they do not have a xylem or a phloem, those are non-vascular plants. Those are bryophytes. All right. And then now, if we continue and go to the top with our phylogenetic tree, from these non-vascular plants, if we go to the top, we meet this adaptation A. All right. So there is a certain development which is A, because A, they said these are just key structural features in the evolution. So what has changed from bryophytes? Remember that for us to move from bryophytes to the pteridophytes, what do? We add a vascular system, because the bryophytes, since we say that they do not have a xylem and a phloem, so basically for us to have pteridophytes, the pteridophytes actually developed a vascular system. All right. So these are the pteridophytes, the seedless vascular plants. How do I say that these are pteridophytes? You can see that this is a common plant. This is known as ferns. The actual plant is known as ferns, and the ferns, they belong to the division pteridophytes. Okay, so these are seedless vascular plants. All right, so we're just going to answer 2.1.2 and say that these are seedless vascular plants are pteridophytes. 2.1.2, they belong to the division pteridophytes, pteridophyta. So the seedless, why do we say that they are seedless? Is because pteridophytes, they don't have any seeds, but they are vascular plants because they do have a vascular system. So basically, you can actually say that A represents a vascular system, because basically the fact that pteridophytes have got a vascular system but bryophytes do not have a vascular system, it means that the change from bryophytes to pteridophytes, it is a what? It's a vascular system. So basically, the pteridophytes developed a vascular system so that they can be different from the bryophytes. If you continue and move to the top with our with our phylogenetic tree. If we continue moving to the top, we meet another new change, which is B. We need to be able to identify what is B. But that new change, it leads us to the formation of these, which are the gymnosperms. Okay, so the change here at B, it leads us to the formation of gymnosperms. All right, what is the difference between the pteridophytes, where we are coming from, to the gymnosperms? Is that the gymnosperms have got seeds. So the major thing that has changed at B is the development of seeds. You already need to know, guys, this cladogram without even being coached in this way. You need to know that from bryophytes to pteridophytes, there was a development of a vascular system. From pteridophytes to gymnosperms, there was a development of seeds. So basically, for gymnosperms to be different from pteridophytes, they developed some seeds. All right. And then if we continue up with our chain, then we continue from this from these gymnosperms, we continue going up to angiosperms. We see that there's another development, which is C. So from gymnosperms to angiosperms, what new thing developed? We know that angiosperms, they are flowering plants, they've got flowers. Gymnosperms, they don't have any flowers. So basically, they changed there, it was the flowers. That's how you interpret a phylogenetic tree, because it just shows you also how did a plant change from being like this to being like that. In this case, how did the bryophytes or the non-vascular plants change to become the seedless vascular plants? They developed a vascular system, or they developed a xylem and a phloem. How did the pteridophytes or the seedless vascular plants change to become the gymnosperms? They developed some seeds. How did the gymnosperms change to become the angiosperms? They developed some flowers. But the idea here is just that a phylogenetic tree must show you what changed for one thing to change to another. Something like that, guys. I know that you love this topic so much, so let's do a 2.1.3. 2.1.3 now says, name the most important adaptations that developed or that evolved at each of the positions labeled A, B, C. We've already labeled and say that A is the vascular system. So A is the development of a vascular system, because for bryophytes to change to pteridophytes, they developed a what? A vascular system. So for us to move from here to here, we developed a vascular system. Then I've already labeled that B is the seeds. So basically, for us to move from these pteridophytes, to the gymnosperms, we developed here some seeds. So I'm going to say that is seeds. And then C shows the development of flowers. So for us to move from gymnosperms, and move all the way to angiosperms, there was a development of what? Of flowers, because angiosperms, they are flowering plants. And then now 2.1.4 now says, explain why ferns grow taller than mosses. So 2.1.4, explain why ferns grow taller than mosses. Remember that ferns belong to the kingdom Pteridophyta, and then mosses belong to the kingdom Bryophytes. So basically, the Bryophytes, they keep on having a smaller size. They do not grow to be that big. Is because, well, why is that? They're asking that actually. Compared to ferns, they can become very tall compared to the Bryophytes. So basically, we need to know that the ferns, they've got a vascular system. Remember that for a plant to be able to grow, it needs to be able to get enough water and enough nutrients. And that can only happen if the plant has got a vascular system. A vascular system, I repeat, you've learned this in grade 10, but I'm re-emphasizing it for you. A vascular system, it is the xylem and the phloem. The xylem, it is used to transport water to the plant, because the plant requires water to live. The phloem, it is used to transport nutrients to the plant, because the plant requires nutrients and food to survive and become bigger. All right. So the fact that bryophytes or mosses do not have vascular system. They are non-vascular plants, and so they do not have a vascular tissue. They don't have a vascular system. It means that there is nothing that can, because a vascular tissue, I'm sure it must transport water and nutrients so that the plant can grow. So since they do not have those xylem and phloem, or that vascular tissue, they cannot be able to grow. Grade 11. Alright, they cannot be able to grow. Ungakhula kanjani ungadli? Alright, you need to be able to eat. So basically here, these bryophytes, they remain small because they don't have a vascular tissue. So they say, explain why ferns grow taller than mosses. Is because ferns have a vascular tissue. Ferns have a vascular tissue. So vascular tissue, we're talking about xylem to transport water, and phloem to transport nutrients. And phloem to transport nutrients. So this is for the plant's growth. Yes, so basically ferns, they grow taller than mosses because ferns have got a vascular tissue. Specifically, they've got a xylem to transport water for them. They've got a phloem to transport nutrients so that they can be able to grow. Do not tell me about mosses here in this case, because the question say explain why ferns grow taller. You cannot be telling me mosses, they don't have a vascular tissue, that's why they grow smaller than ferns. No. You have to explain in the context of ferns. The ferns, they grow taller than mosses because they do have a vascular tissue, a xylem to transport water, a phloem to transport nutrients so that the plant can grow. Then now 2.1.5, you consolidate, explain the term spermatophytes. Spermatophytes, remember, it is the collective name that we use to refer to both angiosperms and gymnosperms. What is common between angiosperms and gymnosperms is that both of them, they have got seeds. All right, they are different divisions indeed, but both of them have got what? They've got seeds. So the seed-bearing plants are known as the spermatophytes. So when they say explain the term spermatophytes, you need to just say these are the seed-bearing plants. Simply that. Seed-bearing plants. These are the plants that bear seeds. These are the plants that actually produce seeds. The difference is just that in gymnosperms, the seeds are produced in cones. In angiosperms, the seeds are covered by fruit. That's the only difference. But both of them, they are seed-bearing plants, aka spermatophytes. So thank you so much for watching this video, wonderful primary plants. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends to also stay tuned.